They say that after the flood, when the water started to recede, Noah looked out over his ark and exclaimed, Yerevan! Meaning the land has emerged. In honor of this, grateful descendants have since named their settlement this way. Can you guess what city this could be? But of course, it's Yerevan. My name is Zoya, and I have one day to visit and fall in love with the capital of sunny Armenia. If you're visiting Yerevan for a short period of time, you'd want to see the most important places. And for Armenians, that is, of course, the sacred mountain of Ararat. It's not worth getting upset if you don't have enough time to physically visit the mountain. It's much more important to get lucky with weather, like I did today. You can see it over there, what looks like the letter M, with snowy caps kicking its peaks. But for now, let's look back at the city. Since I only have one day, I simply don't have enough time to visit the main Armenian summit. But if you climb to the very top of this stairway, you get an equally wonderful view of the mountain. Standing right in the center of Yerevan, I got to witness the main attraction of the country. Awesome. This impressive limestone stairway is a part of the Grand Cascade complex. Yerevanians are very proud of the Cascade and say that, by looking at it, it's possible to study the very history of Armenia through symbols. So convenient. While it seems like you're just strolling through the city enjoying yourself, you're actually absorbing elements of the country's culture and history at the same time. I think half an hour will be just the right amount of time to spend here. It's easier to go down, of course, than it is to climb up. If you are ready to take 572 steps up this stairway, then you are either a hero or you're dying to take some beautiful photos on the way up. Otherwise, you can always use the escalator. The infrastructure is amazing. It's like a whole museum in a mountain. Also, in the same way, you can catch the modern art exhibitions free of charge and on the go. There's also a gallery here where you have to pay an entrance fee, but I'm not going to linger here for much longer. And so, here we have a photo of a kitten. But this isn't just some banality. This is the work of the Colombian sculptor Botero, brought here especially for the Cascade Center, the Center for the Arts. The center is comprised of the lengthy stairway, the sculptures in the park, the exhibition that we saw under the stairs, no matter how funny that may sound. In fact, all of these elements together work in perfect harmony. While I would like to check out the Cascade Center in more detail, I have lots more to see today. One needs to prioritize, as they say. Oh, then I'll focus on the external exhibition. In each city, you can come up close. Well, no, actually here you can't. There are some statues you can rub for good luck. Here you can't. But darn, I want so badly. There she is. Wow. Can we show things like this on TV? I've got to find some coffee to power up, and I know where Yerevanians go in this case. It's just 2 steps away. Let's go. This is Freedom Square, a very popular place. Just what you need to feel the spirit of Yerevanian life. Beautifully said. I know. And this is the National Opera and Ballet Theater, but I don't see any posters. The theater is probably touring at the moment. The theater is one of the most beautiful buildings in Yerevan, designed by the architect Tamanyan. In front of it, there's a monument dedicated to the Armenian writer Havanis Tumanyanin. Do you remember the Armenian cartoon? Wow, a talking fish. It's based on that tale. There are a lot of cozy coffee shops that open when the city wakes up. Well, that's around 10 o'clock. Yerevan is the ideal place for coffee lovers, seeing as coffee is not just a drink for Armenians, but a whole ceremony. Friends, relatives, and acquaintances gather to have a cup of coffee to talk business or just to catch up. That's probably why there are so many coffee shops in Armenia. A cup of coffee costs me about 90 cents. And the cake, $2.60. Well, that's a great start to the day. Now, let's decide what's next on the agenda. All the main sights to see in Yerevan are in the city center, so each must-see is pretty close to the next. Yerevan has a metro system, buses, and even trolley buses. Generally, public transport here isn't expensive, but getting off at the right stop can be challenging at first. I'll take a taxi, since it's also cheap. But do keep in mind, the drivers can hustle tourists and name any price, so be sure to mention that you know the average price for a trip and around the city. It's about $2.60. Excuse me, do you know where I'm going to find a taxi around here?
Here's one.
A taxi, yes?
Yeah.
Please can you tell me how much to get to can you help me out here?
The Etchmiadzin Cathedral.
Yes?
Of course. When you visit Armenia, if you miss the Etchmiadzin Cathedral, you haven't really been to Yerevan, to Armenia.
Oh, you're the best. Okay, but will you wait for me there?
Will do. I can wait for as long as you need.
Okay, just in case, try to remember the center's landmarks. Another name for this place is Vernissage. If you've ever been stunned by the ancient Roman ruins, you probably haven't seen the Etchmiadzin Cathedral. Armenia is the world's first Christian state. The Etchmiadzin Monastery, which was first constructed with wood, was built as early as the 4th century, immediately after the Christianization of Armenia. You really must see the ancient local cathedrals, but there's only one problem. There's a lot of them here. The cathedral church is not the only attraction here, but since I only have one day, I'm running out of time. I can only visit this one. And please note, the cathedral is open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., while the museum's open from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's a legend here about the making of the monastery. Initially, Christians in Armenia were persecuted. The local king, Trat III, even ordered stones to be thrown at the nuns, and then he went insane. One of the prisoners cured him, converting him to Christianity. This man was the patron saint of Armenia, Gregory the Illuminator. The place for the construction of the cathedral, according to the legend, was shown to Gregory by Jesus Christ himself. Oh, I really liked Etchmiadzin. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes.
So, now maybe I should venture to North Avenue?
Why North Avenue, when we can go to North Sevan?
North Sevan, but isn't that far?
We'll get there in no time.
Really? Well, if you say so.
Yeah, we'll be there in an hour. Well, I can get us to Sevan in 45 minutes.
I wasn't planning on a trip to Sevan. Not sure this spontaneous detour is the smartest when I'm on this kind of time crunch. But you know what? I'm not regretting it at the moment. The sightseeing en route is stunning, and another plus side is at least my feet got some rest. And here it is, the beautiful Sevan, a national treasure of Armenia. Together with the park and the reserve, it occupies 1/6 of the country. Although we could drive around Sevan a bit more, I don't think it's as necessary. Okay, careful. The water is cold. Not really a surprise, it's not the right season right now. It must be wonderful during summer. There are a lot of hotels and aquatic recreations. Regardless, I think you can visit Yerevan at almost any time of the year. Even just seeing this nature is worth it in any season. The locals love Sevan so much that there are sayings like, Sevan is so beautiful that you could just drown in it. I've caught myself thinking how much I'd go for a swim. The water is clear, the sun is warm, but it's deceiving because it's not the right season. You really shouldn't swim now, but even more so, I don't have the time anyways. Since the times of the ancient state of Oratu, this lake has been considered sacred, or well, divine, like a gift from above. Now, it's clear to me why, how heavenly, yet the smells here are quite earthly, the smell of food. Uh-oh, I'm getting really hungry. Let's find somewhere to eat. There are lots of restaurants and cafes around Sevan meant to accommodate large Armenian weddings. But even if you're traveling alone like me, you'll find a table without a problem. When in Sevan, you've got to try their royal fish, the trout, or a crayfish kebab, which is a discovery for me. I've never tried it and really wonder what it's like. You should be ready to try it with a big appetite or not at all. The air is so fresh that it honestly keeps you hungry. To get better acquainted with the national cuisine, ask for their traditional snacks. Try and remember pita bread, matsoni, buckwheat bread, and not to mention the mouth-watering homemade lemonade. What should I start with? Okay. I'll start with an olive. I wonder whether there's any particular etiquette to eating the fish. Well, in my case, the most important rule is to avoid getting dirty because when I eat something delicious, I tend to get sloppy. Well, of course the fish tastes completely different from anything I've ever tried. Well, I won't use a fork. It just gets in the way of eating the fish. When the food is this good, I just want to devour it with my hands. See? I told you. Can I please have a napkin? Although usually the fish would be enough for me, the kebab made of local Sevan crayfish is such a specialty. I won't forgive myself if I don't try it. It always tastes better when you're eating with your hands. Facts. Sorry. This is not like the crayfish they serve you in the saunas. It's a true delicacy. You can't find it simply anywhere. It takes special skills to prepare it. The driver didn't fail me. We managed to get to the city right on time. By the way, he turned out to be
83 years old.
No way.
Oh, why not? Want to see my passport?
I must say that you're very stylish.
Yes, I am. In Armenia, I'm the only one with a mustache like this. There's no one else quite like me.
I'm lucky.
Each side is 16 inches.
You know, usually for such 15 inches.
Yes.
Oh, you even have a braid there.
Yeah, like this. Please.
Actually, I was planning on seeing the ancient manuscripts in the famous Yerevan Matenadaran Museum.
Matenadaran is our past, future, and our present. You can find almost anything there. Manuscripts, both old and new. Of course, most prefer the old ones. Okay, we're here.
All right, don't leave without me.
I'll wait for you.
This is one of the largest repositories of ancient manuscripts in the world. There are over 100,000 ancient books and documents, works of philosophers, mathematicians, geographers, all the greatest minds of a given time. Just a treasure chest of knowledge. Matenadaran is the Museum of Ancient Manuscripts, which I didn't get a chance to see because it isn't open on Mondays, only Tuesdays through Saturdays. Here's Mesrop Mashtets, who, being the creator of the Armenian alphabet, is as important for the Armenians as Cyril and Methodius is for Russians. You won't believe it. All my commuting today put together, including Sevan, cost a whole of $43.11.
My children, my daughter's family, as well as my younger son, all live in Moscow.
Oh?
They all get to see the show.
And they will be delighted?
Dad, they'll say, where and how did they find you? Papa Yuri?
Yes. It was a wonderful trip. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And my gifts from Papa Yuri are priceless. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I still have a lot of time left, so I decided to drop off my stuff at the hotel so that it's easier to get around. I decided to choose a chain hotel in Yerevan because I love it when I know what level of service to expect. The hotel is located in the very heart of the city, and the hotel room is 30% cheaper than a room of a similar standard room in Moscow. Nearby, they have a Vernissage market, a must-see for the tourists. The main concern here is not getting stuck here the whole day, which can be easy, seeing as the Vernissage takes up an entire block. I've got to say, the place is seductive, in the sense that it's nearly impossible to ever find such an amount of charming and cheap pieces of jewelry anywhere else. There's also a flea market, but to tell you the truth, I don't really like flea markets. I prefer these kinds of handmade jewelry pieces. There's a lot embedded with Armenian national symbols, like the pomegranate or the forget-me-not flower. I don't know where to start. Can I try it on?
Yeah, go ahead.
To see if it suits me. What a pendant. An ideal souvenir. Do the stones get darker with time?
I'll give you this one as a gift. A souvenir. Here, I'll pack it up.
Wow.
There you go. I hope you'll enjoy wearing it.
Coming here can make you feel somewhat embarrassed at times, because you never know when you'll randomly receive a gift. There's such hospitality here, but that's Armenia for you. Now, I have to buy something in exchange, for sure. But of course, now they're not letting me buy anything anymore. When you realize that a pendant costs $8.60 and a garnet bracelet costs $20.70, and that you can pay in any currency that you have on you without having to exchange your own money, you're going to want to buy everything, even the local folk wind instrument, the duduk. Fun fact, the duduk is made up exclusively from apricot tree. They say that the duduk is like the soul of the Armenian people. In fact, it's not easy to play the duduk, as it seems. It's not just a pipe. Here you should, like with the saxophone, as far as I know, you should properly tighten your lips on the mouthpiece in order to get the right sound. Can I try playing one of them?
You can try this one.
Oh, this really tickles my lips. Okay. I gave it a solid try. Sorry, I left some lipstick on it.
That's okay.
As soon as a tourist escapes the temptations of the Vernissage market, they'll have to go on yet another Yerevan shopping spree. They know a lot about bargaining here. Walking along North Avenue is a real pleasure. Actually, as far as I understand, people come here during the evenings throughout the summer. People hang out here at night as well. So basically, at any time of the year, it's the go-to. It's also where the elite youth come to hang out. Also, you can do some of the best shopping here. They have all the luxury brands, but at a cheaper price than in Moscow, for instance. Here we have the real Golden Mile of Yerevan. Unlike the Golden Mile in Moscow, which is the most luxurious residential area, the one in Yerevan is more lively and not as posh. Can you imagine that 10 years ago, only private houses stood here? They were then demolished and, in their place, this beauty coated in pink tuff. The apartments here are actually quite expensive compared even to the prices in London. Pushkin Street intersects North Avenue and is one of the most bohemian spots in Yerevan. You should definitely come here after it gets dark. And I have a pretty good idea as to how one can stretch their single day of travel by spending a part of the visit exploring the city's nightlife. There are lots of bars, clubs, and I've chosen just the place to go to. The Yerevan Jazz Club culture is a story in and of itself. Here you can listen to world-class musicians while having a chill evening with your friends at the same time. Any up-to-date Yerevanian will tell you that there's nowhere better to feel the Yerevan spirit than at a jazz club. To experience true Armenia, you must come and listen to their jazz. Jazz has taken hold here so much that it's actually impossible to imagine the world's jazz culture without the contribution of the Armenian musicians. Armenian jazz is over 100 years old. The club is called Malchas. Every jazz lover, of course, knows the owner of the establishment, the famous musician Levon Malchasyan. He is both a jazz legend and a true emblem of Armenian culture. If you stay past midnight, you'll get to witness the jazzman himself playing. I was on my way out, but was lucky enough to hear him play. Behind me, you can see the singing and dancing fountains of Yerevan. They're symbolic of my mood right now. I've spent one day in the city of Yerevan, in sunny Armenia. It's been rich. It's been vibrant. There's been so much and so many experiences that I will definitely take back home with me. And I hope I was able to share at least a portion of that with you today. My name is Zoya. This was Yerevan, a city in a day. See you in the next town.